You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
Riding the high of that Mississippi State win, let's relive that one. Then we move on to just all quarterback talk, from the competition to meeting QB1 Seth Hennigan, plus a look ahead to UTSA. That's all right here tonight on The Ryan Silverfield Show.
The game is on.
The Ryan Silverfield Show is presented by AutoZone. When you've got car trouble, you want help from number one. So if you've got a battery problem, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And by Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Chick-fil-A, we didn't invent chicken, just the chicken sandwich. RJ Young, technology solutions that power your business. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Ryan Silverfield Show. What a game yesterday. Victory against Mississippi State. I'm Dave Willoshin.
And I'm Jarvis Greer. You want to see the highlights? Let's go to them right now with Cassie Carlson.
We'll get right into it just like the Tigers did. On the first Bulldogs drive, ball is fumbled, good bounce right into the hands of Sanchez Blake, scoop and score, 49-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Mississippi State eating up the clock in the first half, and the Bulldogs score 17 unanswered to go into halftime up 10. Start of the third, Tigers on their own 34 and go for it on 4th and 1. Seth Hennigan throwing an interception. The Bulldogs take over in the red zone, but the Memphis defense holding their own as they did all game. 4th down, Will Rogers with time, and Quindell Johnson swats that ball away. No score on the drive. The Tigers then take over at their 2 and march down the field. Hennigan airs it out to Calvin Austin III. Look at the snag for a 22-yard touchdown that makes it a 17-14 game. 21-17 later, and the Bulldogs punt. State thinks they down it and the play is dead, but Austin sees the ball on the ground, picks it up, and he takes off down the field, goes 94 yards for a touchdown. A controversial call puts Memphis up 28-17. We'll have more on that in a sec. 2 minutes and the Tigers go up 8 after their punter, Joe Doyle, nails a 51-yard field goal. MSU then scores a touchdown and goes for 2 and for the tie. Will Rogers has tons of time, but there's no one open. He's going to try and run it in, but taken down short of the goal line. The defense playing lights out, and linebacker J.J. Russell keeping cool under pressure. The fifth-year senior had a career day with 14 tackles, 1 TFL, and a forced fumble. A nod to the late Tigers great, Danton Barnum. Memphis goes on to win 31-29. Here's Jarvo and Wolo with head coach Ryan Silverfield.
Sometimes it takes all phases, a goal line stand, a 98-yard drive, and miracles from the special teams. Coach, congratulations.
Thanks. Look, credit to our young men. I think the resiliency they showed throughout the game, right? Offense showed up, defense showed up, special teams showed up, and sometimes in different times, right? Our offense certainly wasn't perfect. Still things that we need to continue to work on. But, just so proud of the way they continue to battle. The defense, man, what a great job, right? The goal line stand you talked about. Being able to find a way to stop that 2-point conversion at the end, that was great. And then let's not forget about special teams, not just the Calvin Austin punt return. How about the hands team out there? Let's not forget about that. Those guys stepped out there, were able to recover some of those onside kicks, which made all the difference in the world. And so much meaning for this program. Another Power 5 W goes a long way. Well, look, like I said, this is for the young men. This is for those guys in the locker room that battled the tears off. And, also this game to two things, right? The visitation with Danton Bardo that occurred this past Thursday. This game honored him. What a better way to celebrate that than J.J. Russell going out and having 16 tackles, career tackles. I know Danton's up in heaven looking down at him. Proud Tiger. And then also to honor Isaac Bruce, one of the greatest truly to do it all time, his gold jacket, and for him to be in attendance here and to see so many Tiger alum, to be able to witness that was for this, people, and that was for the 901. And so those locker room, credit to all those guys that continue to fight, and just couldn't be happier for our young men.
And I have to say credit to you and the coaching staff. Of course, Coach McIntyre, you give up 50 points at Arkansas State, but you come back against a Mississippi State team and you make them go the long way and the hard way. You said earlier, you just keep pounding that rock. Stay with the game plan. You came up with that game plan for a reason, and the guys stuck with it, and it worked out for them in the end.
All week, Jarvis, I had talked to them about having a 60-minute focus, and I knew they'd come out with their hair on fire, excited, energized, and guess what? Sometimes things don't go your way. And I talked to them about having the ebbs and flows of a football game, and that's part of college football. Especially when you're playing an SEC team, they're going to make plays. They're going to do things. They're going to be able to stop the run at times. And guess what? Not a single head was down in the locker room at halftime. Walking up the sidelines at the third quarter, even that opening drive after the half, and we got shoved down our throats. Man, our kids sat there and said, we got this, and they believe. And I challenged him pregame. I said, you know what? We know how hard we work. We know how much we care about each other. But now we need to show the world, and we need to do it for 60 minutes. And like I said, credit to our young guys, just the fight and the character of the other men. And that's what you talk about when win games like this. That shows the culture of your program, and I couldn't be happier for our guys.
One thing you're showing the world is that you don't lose here in the Liberty Bowl. That's 17 straight home victories, 17 straight, 22 straight non-conference victories. This is not a friendly place to come for other teams.
Well, that was the great thing about today was all of our fans being back. You know, that was something that so many of our guys, some of our seniors that came back for the extra year, didn't have the chance to be around so many of our fans, right? Yeah, we got to play and beat UCF in front of 12,000 fans. But to have almost a sold-out Liberty Bowl rocking, our fans made the difference, and our players loved it, and man, you could sense their energy. This is a great place to play. I'd love to play all of our games here. But again, one at a time, on to the next one.
What a W. So the quarterback situation is now very settled, but this past summer, it was a mystery.
Let's go back to August, beginning of camp. You've got 4 quarterbacks. How does this thing play out?
Well, you know, look, fortunate to at least have 4, right? I mean, I think that's always the key. I'd hate to go into camp saying, I don't know if we have any. But we felt 4 guys were capable of competing for the starting job. And as camp progressed, we got to see some of those guys move in different directions, right? Maybe it was the second guy getting more reps with the 4s, the 4 guy getting more reps with the 2s, and so be it. But when all got said and done, you know, I think Seth Hennigan really played himself into a starting position.
Well, we know Grant Gunnell got injured, and so Hennigan's your guy. How close was that battle, and what was Gunnell doing that you really liked?
Yeah, look, Grant is a proven starter at major Division I level and has done a great job. Grant's super intelligent, obviously a bigger quarterback that understands ball placement and those things. Plus, it's hard to replicate that experience. But Seth proved himself to be able to go in there and compete for that job. Obviously, Grant got hurt, which made the decision a little bit easier moving forward. But like I said, pleased with all 4 quarterbacks and really, really happy with our room.
What do you get with Keelan Brown? What do you get with Peter Parrish?
Well, look, those are 2 guys. We know that they're both very capable quarterbacks. Keelan was a guy that was actually Brady White's backup quarterback as we went into November and December last year. So Keelan's got game experience. Feel really comfortable with him in this offense. Peter Parrish was a young man that was ineligible last year due to the old transfer rules. So he spent a lot of time on our scout team, but he's capable, strong arm young man. He's really athletic. So, you know, comfortable sitting there saying, okay, hey, if we got to go into a game and we need one of those young men, we'll be just fine.
So with the variety of quarterbacks that you have, do you alter game plan pertaining to the kid you've got?
Well, I think that's part of it. You know, everyone says, how do you get the rest of the team prepared, right? Whether it's getting the in sync with Calvin Austin, right? Sean Dykes. And, you know, kudos to those young men. They said, Coach, whoever you put out there, we got full faith in. And they've worked on the timing through 7-on-7, the summer, through all those things. And we haven't had to change the game plan a whole lot based off of what it is.
Now you've got the guys in the room that you know you're going to go with. And with Seth now, how do you, when you have to say, look, that was a good read, but you could have done this. How does he take criticism now as a young guy coming in?
Oh, he's been fantastic. I always say this, you know, one, he's a coach's son, so I'm sure he's been critiqued most of his life, but he also gets it. And he's a great football mind. He sees things so clearly. In fact, he'll come right off the sideline and be like, shame on me, I should have done this. But thank goodness he's been pretty good with his reads and his keys and all those things. So he's a wonderful, he's got that coach me, coach mentality. Let me get better. How can I grow? He wants to hear it all, good, bad, or indifferent. We're quite pleased with his development.
And Seth Hennigan, the winner of that quarterback competition. We meet the true freshman who's described as calm, cool, and collected right after the break.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
Most of Seth Hennigan's life has revolved around football. From growing up as a coach's kid to winning a Texas high school state championship, all of it has prepared him to be the Tigers' starting quarterback. There's no one football memory that sticks out to Seth Hennigan growing up. There's too many to count.
My dad was a head coach at plenty of different Texas high school football places. So I moved around a lot, and I mean, just going to football games on Friday nights and getting to ride the bus with the varsity players as a little kid and go on the field and see firsthand what football was like.
Dave Hennigan has been a Texas high school head coach for nearly 20 years, so he's been around plenty of talent and knew he had something special in his son Seth.
You could tell Seth was pretty good, even when he was young. It was important to him. He's always been competitive. Early on, you knew he was going to be a good little athlete, whether it was football or basketball or, anything he really kind of dipped his feet into.
By 8th grade, Dave knew his son could turn into a college quarterback. In high school, he started progressing quickly.
He's in familiar territory, and so to speak, at Memphis. He's replacing a guy who's a record holder who won a bunch of games, who's a fantastic quarterback. And when he was a sophomore here at Ryan, he replaced Spencer Sanders, who's the starter at Oklahoma State. He was a 4-year starter for me. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Texas. And Seth replaced him. And so he's in familiar territory. And the thing about Seth is he has high expectations of himself. Back then, he didn't care that he was a sophomore. He wanted to perform at a high level and win. Right now, he doesn't even know he's a true freshman. He just wants to perform at a high level and win.
Stepping up in the pocket, Hennigan lets it go. Back foot, he got his man. It's caught. It's Austin. He's got it at the 40, to the 30, right sideline 20, 10. No one's going to catch him. Touchdown, Tigers, 55 yards.
The biggest takeaway from me from that game is that Seth Hennigan is a stud. He looked like the next great Memphis quarterback.
How much influence does your dad have on who you are as a player and as a person today?
Yeah, my dad he means the world to me. And growing up, during my high school career, I got to watch film with him. He was my coach. He was the quarterback coach. He was the offensive coordinator. So I spent a lot of time with him just at home and doing the sport that I love. So he had a great influence on me. He had a great impact on my life. And I mean, that also translates to the field because I know what my dad has told me, like how he feels about certain things. And that has just allowed me to grow coming into a college career.
What lessons did you instill in him or try to instill in him from a young age?
When you're the quarterback in this program at Denton Ryan, there's high expectations. And when you're the coach's son, there's even higher expectations. And so really not to get too high when things are going well, not to get too low when things aren't going well, to ignore the praise, but also ignore the criticism. And I think what Seth is very, very confident kid, okay? And I think you have to be. To step into that situation, you have to be borderline overconfident, to be honest with you. At the same time, he's very humble, okay? So I think that's, to be successful at that position, I think you have to have both.
No one knows how to find success as a Memphis quarterback more than Brady White. Before you, there was Riley Ferguson.
Yep.
There was Paxton Lynch.
Yep.
Any advice that got passed down to you that you can now pass down to Seth?
The biggest thing I think he does a great job of, and I would encourage him to continue to do, is to be himself. I think this city really embraces people that are genuine and authentic, and he brings different things to the table in his own quirky personality. And so as long as he stays true to himself and then continue to grind, which he is, he's a hard worker, he's a smart kid. You know, there's no telling where this kid could go. It's early, but there's a lot of potential, and the ceiling's really high, if there even is one.
Everyone always describes you as calm, cool, and collected when you're out on that field. Where do you get that from?
It just comes from practice and getting a bunch of reps every single day.
Dave Hennigan has always spent games on the sidelines on a headset in his son's ear. For the first time, he gets to take a step back and see his son display things he taught him, now for the Tigers.
It's been really special. You know, you watch your kids your whole life, and we're a football family. We have 3 sons. They all played. So, you know, we've gone to their stuff their whole lives. And so to not go when they get to that level, we don't want to miss it. So it's exciting. You know, I've never really been a fan, to be honest with you. And so it's kind of fun just to be a fan. It's much more nerve-wracking to be a fan than it is to actually be calling the plays for them and that sort of thing.
You are the Tigers' starting quarterback. What does it mean to you to have that job?
I mean, it's a big deal to me and to my family, and I think to my teammates too, just to make sure that everyone has that confidence in me. It just is a great feeling.
Coach, we learned how you believe in Seth Hennigan, but just as importantly, how do his teammates buy in to the true freshman?
Yeah, well, I think that was part of it. Seeing how he is around his teammates was one of the reasons it was an easy decision, right? We got to see how they believe in him, how they trust him, how they know what a great quarterback he is on the field, but also those things that he does off the field. They realize how hard he worked, how much he studies, how well he understands his offense. And I think those things go into saying, okay, we feel comfortable with an 18-year-old who probably doesn't even shave right now, being our starting quarterback and leading this offense the way we want it to be. And so I ask input, right? Calvin Austin's done at a high level for a long time, who's well respected by his teammates, along with a lot of other guys. And when you see the comfort with them, the belief in them, their big eyes locked and loaded when he's in there, the command of this offense, it made an easy decision.
Now, how is it that, you say they're locked and loaded when they go in that huddle? You don't huddle up that much, but, they listen to that one voice. But, we've talked to him in the post-game show, and he's really kind of a soft-spoken kid. How is it that he commands that respect from his other players?
No question. I think going out there, one, performing at a high level, right? I think when you go out there, you can throw touchdown passes and completions. I think that automatically demands it. But what people see is his work ethic, and they see when he goes out there, he knows what he's talking about. He understands when he can go up to a vet and say, hey, you should have run that route one more yard. Oh wait, he knows what he's talking about. And I think that understanding of it, is he the screamer and the yeller? Not right now, and I think he'll grow into that, right? We've seen over the years, right? I'm not putting him in comparison of Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, but those guys became more vocal as their careers went on, as they understood their peers knew that that's what they were capable of.
People talk all the time about recruiting a coach's son. Give me any kind of quotient that goes into upping a guy for having a father who's a coach.
Well, I think part of it is, one, they understand the demands of playing quarterback, and they understand what it truly takes. And if you've had success and your father happens to be your head coach, that means he's probably pushed you pretty well. And when I say pushed, in all elements, right? Making sure you have a full understanding of offenses, making sure you have a great work ethic. Probably not a young man that's missing a whole lot of classes either, right? So he handled himself academically. We knew he was an early grad. You throw all those things in the mix, and man, that's a type of young man you want to recruit, a type of guy that you want to bring into your program, because you know they're a proven winner.
Seth Hennigan takes that 1 week at a time approach. We're taking it too as we preview UTSA coming up right after the break.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone. Let's take a look at the AutoZone road ahead.
Up next, the Roadrunners of Texas San Antonio. Coach, they have a Power 5 win over Illinois. They can put 50 on the board. What a challenge.
Yeah, this is, you want to talk about up-and-coming program. UTSA is one of those. They're a well-coached team. Coach Jeff Traylor's had a lot of success throughout, right? He's been a successful high school coach in the state of Texas. They play really hard-nosed football. They're capable, like we talked about, their win up in Champaign, Illinois earlier this year. We know we're going to get their best swing, and we got to be prepared. We hope that our fans are there, the Liberty Bowl, loud and proud. But UTSA is one of those programs that when the season schedule came out, we knew we were going to get everything we could handle and more.
I know the coaches knew that. The players, you're coming off a Mississippi State game, then you go play UTSA, who has just come on here lately. The players don't know anything about it.
Yeah, well, we used to talk about when I coached in the NFC North, right, the black and blue division. This is going to be another one of those games, right, coming off an SEC opponent, going into another physical ball game. And I think our players understand and respect whoever we're playing, but we know UTSA is capable as anybody. They're coming in there hungry and ready to roll.
That was tonight's AutoZone Road Ahead. AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination and official sponsor of Tiger Athletics. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
UTSA comes to the Liberty Bowl Saturday at 2:30. We'll wrap things up right after this.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
That's our show for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you at the Liberty Bowl on Saturday, then right back here next Sunday night for another edition of The Ryan Silverfield Show.
The Ryan Silverfield Show is presented by AutoZone. Next time you need a car battery, just pick it up. Visit AutoZone.com and select same-day store pickup. Just one reason why AutoZone is America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And by Conway Services, official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Chick-fil-A, we didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. R.J. Young, technology solutions that power your business. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the University of Memphis Sports Network. This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Memphis. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of Memphis and Learfield.